If you're Gen X, you remember a world before everything had a screen. You remember saving up for things. You remember a version of success that meant climbing a ladder for 30 years and hoping there was something left at the top for you. Welcome to Gen X Abroad, a channel built for people exactly like us. People who worked hard, did everything right, and are now asking a question our parents never really got to ask. What if there's a better way to spend the next chapter? Whether you're already dreaming about a life overseas, quietly Googling cost of living in Europe at 11 p.m., or just curious whether moving abroad is actually possible for someone in your situation, you're in the right place. Here, we break down the real numbers, the real countries, and the real steps it takes to live more, spend less, and travel smart. No fluff, no fantasy, just what actually works for people in our generation making this move. Let's get into it. If you were laid off after 50 and you're grinding through a job hunt that feels rigged against you, you're not imagining it. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why thousands of Gen X are quietly skipping that fight altogether and choosing Europe instead. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the numbers actually work in your favor, which underrated European destinations are worth seriously looking at right now, and the 3 things you need to sort before you make the move. If this is the conversation you've been needing, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more people in exactly your situation find this. Now let's start with the part nobody says out loud. Being laid off after 50 is a different experience to being laid off at 35. At 35, you dust yourself off and get back in the game. At 50, the game has quietly changed the rules on you. The roles you're qualified for pay less than what you left. The interview process feels designed for someone 20 years younger. And the timeline stretches in ways that start to affect everything: your savings, your confidence, your sense of who you are. This isn't a mindset problem. The data backs it up. According to the U.S. Commerce Department, older workers who do get rehired typically earn less than before, often returning to the same industry at a lower salary. Right now, 2 out of 3 workers over 50 say they believe finding a new job would be difficult or very difficult, with age discrimination cited as the #1 reason. The average job search is running close to 6 months across all age groups, and for over 50 workers, it runs longer. And age discrimination complaints filed with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission have been climbing steadily, reaching over 16,000 in the most recent fiscal year alone. That number is almost certainly an undercount, because most people who experience it never file a formal complaint. So if the traditional path is longer, harder, and pays less at the end of it, it is completely rational to ask whether there's a smarter use of your time, your savings, and your energy. And for a growing number of Gen X, the answer is Europe. Here's what most people get wrong about this. They assume Europe is expensive. And if you're picturing London or Paris or Amsterdam, sure, those cities will cost you. But there's a whole tier of European life that exists completely outside that conversation. Smaller cities, overlooked regions, countries that barely show up in expat content, but offer a quality of life that genuinely outperforms what most people have back home, at 40 to 60% less cost. Think about your current monthly outgoings: rent or mortgage, food, transport, healthcare, utilities. Now, run that same lifestyle through a well-chosen European base. The number that comes back is often genuinely shocking. And for someone with a pension, some savings, a 401k, rental income, or even part-time remote work, that lower number changes the entire picture. The math that felt impossible back home starts to work. All right, let's talk specific destinations, because this is where I want to go, somewhere most content doesn't. The Alentejo region in Portugal sits largely undiscovered compared to the coastline everyone talks about. Rolling plains, medieval hilltop towns, extraordinary food, slow pace, and significantly lower costs than Lisbon or Porto. It genuinely resets you after years of corporate intensity. Slovenia is one of the most underrated countries in Europe, full stop. Central location, stunning natural landscape, excellent healthcare, strong infrastructure, and a cost of living well below Western European averages. Almost nobody in expat content covers it. That's exactly why it's worth paying attention to right now. The Azores deserve serious consideration and almost never come up. Technically, Portugal, sitting out in the Atlantic, affordable, extraordinarily beautiful, safe, and absent from mainstream expat conversations. For someone who wants to genuinely step back and figure out what the next chapter actually looks like, this is worth a long, hard look. Montenegro on the Adriatic is emerging quietly as a compelling option. Coastline that rivals anywhere in Europe, among the lowest costs of living on the continent, and nowhere near the expat crowds that have changed the character of coastal Croatia. Sardinia, away from the tourist coast, gives you authentic Italian life. The culture, the food, the pace, at a fraction of mainland Italian prices. And Italy has specific programs for people relocating to smaller towns that are worth researching depending on your situation. Quick break. Check the description and the pinned comment below for resources on all of these destinations, including visa information and real cost of living numbers. Everything is linked below. Now, before any of this becomes real, there are 3 things you need to sort, and the order matters. The first is income clarity. Before you move, write down exactly what comes in each month and from where. Pension, savings drawdown, rental income, remote work, investments, whatever your stack looks like, get it to a monthly number. Then, check whether that number covers a comfortable life in the place you're considering. Most people skip this step because it feels confronting. It's actually the step that makes everything else possible. The second is your legal pathway. Every country has different rules around how long you can stay, what visa category applies to your situation, and what income threshold you need to demonstrate. Tourist entries are not a strategy. Find your specific pathway before you book anything. If it feels complicated, an immigration lawyer in your target country is money extremely well spent. They've solved this exact problem hundreds of times. The third is your healthcare plan. This is the one that catches people most off guard. If you're not yet eligible for Medicare or equivalent in your home country, you need international health insurance arranged before you land, not after. Research the quality of both public and private healthcare in your target destination. Know what a significant medical event realistically costs there. Put this in place early. Now here's the piece that doesn't go on any checklist but might matter more than everything else in this video. Being pushed out of the workforce at 50 takes something from you that goes beyond the paycheck. There's identity in a job title. There's structure in a working week. There's a community in a workplace, even one you were ready to leave. When all of that disappears at once, the gap is real. Moving to Europe doesn't automatically fill it. What it does do, if you approach it with intention, is give you the conditions to build something better. A slower rhythm. The time and space to figure out what actually matters to you when nobody is telling you what to prioritize. A community of people who made a similar leap and came out the other side, genuinely glad they did. The people who struggle in this transition are the ones who expected to just stop. The people who thrive are the ones who move towards something they designed on purpose. Laid off over 50 is not the end of the story. For a growing number of Gen X, it is turning out to be the beginning of the chapter they would never have had the courage to choose for themselves. If you found this helpful, check the description below. There are resources there to help make this transition more concrete and a lot less overwhelming. And if you want to go deeper on exactly how to vet a specific European country before you commit, the visa, the banking, the healthcare, the real cost of living numbers, I made a video walking through the full framework step by step. Check it out by clicking right here. Don't move abroad until you watch this, the full vetting guide.